Okay, I'm going to build this template for the 25 pip grid. And somebody was asking about what do you do with the 25 pip grid, and I'm using it as a visual gauge of my trade plan. Would it survive the volatility? I can see the 25 pips, what it looks like, and I'm going to make estimations on how far the market could move through, because I can see, well, if it comes down 50 pips, which I instantly see what 50 pips looks like, would I buy it if it dropped 50 pips in 4 hours? So I'm putting a qualifier here. So here's like an 8-hour expiration. Now this is just a 3K with a 40 pip stop. So you're risking, in essence, $12 to make $12 here. Now, it doesn't sound like much to people, but all you got to do is lay that 10 times, and hopefully you're going to get slightly different fills, and you're going to make $120. Risking $120 is the classic break even, and these aren't really true numbers because you can see I didn't build a spread into that true outcome of $12 to make $12, But this is what we would aim at as far as our that's going to be a fair trade. A lot of people don't mind break even. Now, here's worse than break even. 22 pips stop to make 12. Now, is there some magic in this stop? No. I just thought it could be 23 to make 13. It's a bottomless pit on that aspect, and it could be more than a 6K. This is actually every other pip. So in a 10 pip range, we're going to capture a 6K. And once again, it doesn't sound like much. We're risking 15 to make 7. The reason why I have this script is because this is what pays the rent. I can't always get 40 pips. Now, I did write the 60. Here's I suppose the greedy trade plan is the ultimate. This is a 20 pip span. Now, this is 3K spanning 20 pip range. So I'm going to put up the 25 pip grid, and now I can kind of visualize, well, when they crush this motherfucker into the floor, there I go again swearing, but when they smack, now look at some of this moves on. This is the wily British pound, and I'm going to use the British pound as my 25 pip grid because the spread is wide. It's around, oh God, what is this? That's the euro, sorry. Look at the pound here. So this is a 10 pip grid on top of 100. The big black lines is 100. Now, does the market respect the 100 and all this stuff? Well, you can make that argument. I can make the argument that it respects the half pip because I can go to the 1 minute chart and go, look at it, goes up and down and see it turns around. Yes, the market is turning around constantly. The 10 pip grid is kind of like, well, I think I'm running a 10, 20, 30 pip stop. In my mind, when I look at the chart, I think, well, could I pull this trade off? And I'm always I can continually back test in a glance in about 1 second. I can look at this chart and go, my theory works because I can see the trades, all the trades here that I could have taken either at the market or on a breakout stop entry. Mind you, all these things entail you placing the orders, but I could see, I would just get into a 13K at the market. Not a great trade yet. They pick up 20K at limits, then they punish it a little bit more, and I build a $150,000 position. And then it comes raping back, and I ride it out for 4 hours in a clean meltdown of distribution. Like here's an instance. Now, all these things are based on the fact of you having a toolbox of I can trade at the market, I can trade on. I'm not a big fan of stop entry, obviously, but if you can pull it off at the market, it shouldn't be too hard. When the market's up, sell a little bit. Sell a little bit. It's okay. It's going to be okay. And you'd be surprised. You may have these outcomes in your head like, well, I'm not taking this trade. Like Mark Douglas says, would you take the trade if you thought it was a loser? No. Every trade you think you're a fucking genius. But you're not. Trust and believe. You could buy the pound right here on close. It's backed off 10 pips. It's below the floor. I can make all the arguments in the world. All they have to do is have more sellers come in or it gaps down. What if it comes into here? So let's try to make money. I mean, this whole thing about, I mean, I still am befuddled by the people that don't talk about the setup before, and that's how that plays out. Right? Where's that guy? So I guess I'm here. So 25 pip grid, we're going to build a template now based on, because the 10 pip is too tight. These are great trades. It's banging off the 100, right? Bing, bing, bang. This is the 4-hour chart, British pound. Now, this is going to take maybe an 80 pip stop to make 40 pips on this chart. But the probability of making your money goes way up. And you got to be able to, at least in my mind, if you really want to make the big bucks, you're going to have to buy these new lows down here. This is the Lonely Wick. You got to buy that. I know you're going underwater by X. You got to buy here in a 10 pip window. Now, maybe not. That's why we're going to put the 25 pip grid up in a minute. That's why this is inappropriate for that kind of trade. Like, if you had a 100 pip grid only, so let me just take off the, here, I'll make it easy. We'll start off with just asking yourself, could you trade this with a 50 pip stop? I just took off the wrong fucking thing. Oh, geez. All right, so we're going to just start from scratch now. I always get pissed off when I'm recording, and then I just come unwrapped and delete the wrong shit. So we're going to go no grid. So this is why I can't trade with no grid. When I started trading, I traded patterns, and I was so pattern orientated that when I traded the euro versus the yen, I couldn't figure out why I was making money and losing money on such an extreme basis. Because I've been studying the markets since I'd say in the 1988, started to look at charts and can computers trade better than me and all that shit, and 5 and a quarter inch floppies that cost $2,000 of a fucking trading model, they called them. They're trading models, and they'd spit out like boys buy soybeans in the morning on the open, some bullshit fucking signal. Right now, I went through that. So I tortured myself with the idea of algorithm. It hasn't changed. It hasn't gotten any better. It really hasn't, because it's about money management. So if you're and money management's about trading small over a large area, in my mind, that's the way to diffuse the volatility, because some of these moves are so brutal that if you're in the market for 3 days, you're either going to go broke or you're going to go rich. And it's obvious just looking at this chart here, but without the pip grid, I don't know what's it costing me for fucking this pattern. What is this pattern costing me? No fucking clue. It's the same bullshit. So this is the buy gold. Well, how much? How much gold do I buy? Well, shut the fuck up with the fucking signals. I see that I got the NASDAQ scripts here ready to go. I don't know if there's double clicks. I don't know what's going on there, but see, I got it from a bender there, wrote some shit. Here's a Bitcoin. I know this is a Bitcoin, or I have to double check all this stuff. So when you write all this shit, just because you wrote a bunch of fucking cool licks doesn't mean you wrote a hit song, So there's that, right? To trade and make money trading it consistently, and that's why people, consistent trader. Why are you consistently babysitting the fucking, if you're got to look at that market, hit 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, that's your fucking job. It's your new fucking, you're a slave to the market. You ain't fucking free. You want to make money, you got to fucking work. It's so hilarious, I don't know how Ryan's doing with his robots and all that stuff, but of course, if you got enough money, see, here's the thing. If you got enough money, you have some shitty robot churning out 7%. Maybe he's making money for a while, then you can build another robot. But how much time did you spend building them fucking robots? I'll trade you manually. I could out-trade you with a fucking supply and demand zone. I could beat the shit out of you. You get your robot, your trendbot's getting its ass kicked in this shit. Now, I would just love to go to the no nonsense Discord and look at all the posts that happened on the British pound in this window. Can you only imagine? People are like, yeah, well, I don't know, it's kind of wacky. I don't know, it's just. And maybe they're not even trading that because their ATRs are, it just doesn't make sense. Where's the money here, right? Now, if you can and this is why the white coffeeans are going to come in and white coffee theory. They're going to say, well, see, the distribution just took a long time and it finally capitulated. No shit. Boy, did it ever. Now, if you just take this and now I'm going to not go to the grid yet because now we're talking patterns. Well, look at how it looks. So without the pip grid, I don't know how much that costs up there. And I don't know how much. And when you look at charts like this, you never think, dude, you could have made if you had a trade plan that could trade in, and I don't know how many pips that is. Like, I'm totally lost. Literally, if you, in the sea of patterns, like you could say shit like, well, look at, how do you explain this? Is there divergence up there? What the fuck happened there? Holy shit. And how big is that move? I mean, it's so stupid to talk about like gain of function. How much gain is there? 1,000 dBs? Okay, you just went deaf. Nobody can hear shit now. I had a gain war last night. Hey, the mix isn't right. I don't know. People show. I guess I'm too picky. For me, the dynamic range of everything is so critical. The dynamic range of the market is so critical to you making any fucking money on these patterns. You're not going to tell me that you're going to go and add one more element that's the open. You're going to put candlesticks up here. You can only imagine if I had pure candlesticks right now, as bad as this may look, and people say those are ugly chart. Yeah, you probably grew up on candlesticks. Mommy had a candlestick chart. There was this girl inside of Google Plus. I was trolling this hot Mideastern girl, and she was a news reporter. She had candlesticks in there. It was Forex for women. It's gone because Google Plus is gone. You look her up, Forex for women. But anyways, I get off track here. But I'm looking at myself like, well, gee, it's in an uptrend. Well, Joe, do you see a 618 on the chart? 618, my fucking, are you kidding me? So when I hear 618, I just think, you must be building fantasy cars. You're a fantasy football guy, right? You're just betting fake shit. Okay, gotcha. But we're betting real shit here, right? What are we going to do this week to make money? How are we going to fucking pay off all these people that are going to come after us now? Because, and the Bitcoin people are probably just, like I said, they would be heartbroken, and there you are, right? Now, the people that traded this wick here, I don't know how much that is. I don't have a Bitcoin grid, though. See, that's the thing. Every time I do my Bitcoin updates, I don't know how much these trades cost, but that was a beautiful fucking wick trade. On the dailies, on the weeklies, you just made X. Now look at the daily. You could have re-entered this pocket, and this is the vacuum I'm talking about. I'll get to the 25 pip grid. I know everybody's asking. But here is the window I'm talking about. You got to be willing to put, damn it, that's not what I want. I want this rectangle, and the brokers don't ever have that enabled. Notice, I want to buy here. Supply. I want to buy more there than I buy here. But I'm going to buy here and I'm up on that trade. What is so wrong with that? Now, you got to be careful because the breakout goobers and the people that trade hammers, hopefully you can see that's a hammer candle without going too far. And we don't want to get all fancy candles and get a Nissan book out and look at all the fucking patterns that this douchebag, about 80-page coffee table, giant book for $120 from Wiley's and Sons. Fuck you. So, go hang out with Bill Gates and go buy a farm. I don't know. Look at this shit. So here's also the breakout trader, right? If you put a buy stop and a sell stop, you got filled long in Bitcoin. Look at you. Now you're ready to ride Bitcoin into $1 million a coin. Good luck, right? Because what happens when we get up here? The sellers are coming in like you can't fucking believe it, right? The scalpers, and they're going to start hunting the bears now, right? All the people that sold here, and we could have drawn a trend line on the daily chart here, and this is a pure chart. There is no, look at breakout, pull back to the breakout, we get in here. Now, you could also make this argument that you don't even need RSI because this is resistance becomes support at an angle in Bitcoin on the daily, did it not? Now, what did you do about that? I'm already long. You may be long because of that, but I'm long because of that. That fresh and we didn't go lower and I had enough money in the account. Here's the thing. This risking 1% of your account. Okay. How about you risk 0.25% of your account, a half, 3/4, and one. How you get down here and you're buying down here at 25 grand when people are shitting their pants. Now you're 1.5% of your account. Now that's conservative trading. Now that is fucking low risk. You're still in these trades, right? Why wouldn't you take that trade? Well, my moving average hasn't. And that's another thing. Beauty about trading with trend lines on close is that I can make the excuse that I'm trading the break out of that trend line. This is adapting real time to the market conditions. Same thing here. 2 touches and a break. The guys that are trading this on the daily Bitcoin, if it breaks my trend line, I sell. But guess who's already short? The market makers, the limit guys. They're short because they sold this vacuum. They're short into that. I hold for confirmation. When the goobers go short, now I'm a little leery. Now I'm like, uh-oh, everybody's on the short train. Then we got this beautiful pocket here to fill. That only lasts for a little bit. We still haven't got to that amazing fresh low from last Monday. So this game plays out. There's so much money to be made here. Why are you waiting for a Gartley? You can't be serious about making money at that point. So let me put up the 25 pip grid on the pound so I can get a handle psychologically. What's my trade plan? What can I withstand? What time frame do I need to be on to make 25 pips? The market's dictating all this shit. When the market heats up like this, and you can make the analysis here, and you can write a book about it and sell it to fucking Wiley's and Sons and go, see this top bottom? Let me show you my setup. I could cherry pick this bullshit all day long. You go, look at this. Did you see where's Waldo on this one? Look at this top become a bottom here. Oh, see why my system's so good. You could have got in there. We were in an uptrend, obviously. Even touched my trend line. And look, a measured move. Moved here, stop moving. You know how many times you see that fucking trade? Once every 4.5 months. How are you going to make a living? That's the daily chart, by the way. In 1 month. 1 month out of how many months on the planet? On the British pound, did you ever see that? Well, that is, and it's cutting through fresh water. But I want to know, who's the guy that starts selling here and then he's like, you know what, we're almost back to break even on that one. Who's the guy stepping in and goes, sell, 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 fuck them? That's a different person, right? That winning trade is based on standing in front of that. This one strategy. So people say, what's your strategy? Scaling in, scaling out. My trade plan is buy limit, buy limit, buy limit, buy limit. So all next week, buy limits. When they tag here, and I look at the 4-hour chart, at that point, I am looking at the 4-hour chart. Because I'm not going to, if I see it go like this, and I'm in a 20, 40K, I'll probably just take it off the table and let all these sit here. And then I can say, you know what, it is pausing. Here comes the U.S. market's going to open. And it makes a run like this. I just get out. Because if you think it's going to turn like this, and a lot of people do projection analysis, well, it's going to go like this, and it's going to go like that. This is the Hana Forex projection. Sometimes it does go like this and does go like that. But no, usually it's going to go, and I'm ignoring the wicks here, but you can see how choppy-woppy. If I include all the wicks, so just color in all the price that ever occurred. And by doing that, here's another thing very powerful. Just take off the closing prices. And then you're going to see how brutal this would be to trade without any instance of rhythm or up or down. And did it close up? Is it bullish or bearish? If I just turn off the closing prices, it's going to be like untradeable. Almost for, well, not for a person that's never traded. They're going to go, I don't see what you're talking about, because you can trade breakouts, and your mind does go to breakouts as soon as you strip out the actual rhythm of the market. And then it just becomes where has the market been? situation. So we'll just take off closing prices. I just want 1 period moving average. And now it becomes like, wow, that is really, oof. Now you do think in breakouts, and you can see the breakout trades, and you can see the stop hunts too. And if I was teaching a course in trading, I'd probably start somebody off with a chart like this and say, well, and I would just love to say right to somebody like, okay, we're going to make money trading. This is the data set we have. Where should we buy or sell next based on? And I would just feel curious to hear somebody that's never really looked at it. Some people have seen charts on TV. Here's the weather. Here's the climate change. Here's the hockey stick. Well, yeah, really. So, and actually, if you did a Bitcoin of this, it'd even be worse, right? Because you can't see the narrative. Where's it been? How did it get all, like, what's going on in here? And this is what makes it, I guess, disorientating, is that you have to ask yourself, well, in here, what do I do there? Do I put this is a lot of sideways action, right? How many times can you see that? Oh, heavy sideways action. Now you just find the simplest kind of situations where a lot of big bars clustered together. What does that mean? And so you kind of have to go through, well, from this, you'd have to be a range trader. Now, the only way to make money from this is to buy the top of that, buy the bottom of that, and sell the top continuously back and forth, back and forth. And let's just assume that's like $100 each direction. $100, $100. Are you willing to change your strategy of range trading, right? Are you willing to be a range trader, even though I know you're going to tell me this is the trend? Are you willing to be a range trader? And then you get to the point where you look at stuff like, well, look at, if I turned on the Williams fractal would be the next stage I would take somebody to. Let's put on the Williams fractal. Let the Williams fractal, which is we need 5 bars to turn. So I'm sure there's a fractal here. There's one here. Maybe not one there. Right, there's not one there, but there's definitely one there. We need a nice turnaround. And that's something the computer could do for us. And this would be the first level of analysis that it would ever do, is the Williams fractal, because it's just helping you. If you're going to look at 20 currency pairs, it's going to be like, boom, obviously there's support here. We got to think about buying down here, right? That's a good buy. And we know it's a good buy because after we bought, it seemed to go higher. We don't know how it got there. It might have been like crazy, but it eventually got up there. And was this an important price here? And this is a Williams fractal. So if you fractal the fractal in the dailies, not a lot of trading, but really fucking premium trades and not always great fills. If we put sell limits up here and we're expecting them to pop it and trap people, doesn't happen. So then you have to think, well, maybe I should be more aggressive and put all my sell limits in here. Put my buy limits in the pocket. If I put my buy limits in this pocket now, is that a good entry? Yes, although they're pounding me. See, the guy that can take a pounding makes more money. The guy that can put a buy limit here and a buy limit in that cove, and the market wicks down, and this is a better chart. I get, the line chart in a way. So this is like 2 data points, high, low. You get nothing else. You don't even, and this is probably the better way if you've never traded before, or just to test yourself. Open a demo, put up just a goddamn. This is actually indicator called open, high, low, close, because this is not, MetaTrader will not give you a bar chart like this. People ask, where'd you get this bar chart? Yeah, this is a big bar. I mean, I can make it fatter than this, but I want to see a little gap between because I still want to see the rhythm. I still want to see what's going on there. So let me put up the 25 pip grid on top of just the range, and then we can see what it would cost us. And we could put a 50 pip grid up too. So if we want to trade with 100 pip stops, maybe we put up a 50 pip grid. Now this isn't written in stone, and you have to really, what I'm doing is trading from pure price. Now I did do the trend line. So for the trend line people, I did do that crossover setup. Those are called setups where you break out, pull back. But it's funny how it just doesn't fucking matter if you're trying to make money, because I can make more money than waiting for that really nice, pretty setup, because the pretty setup guys have to wait for that. And maybe they even wait for confirmation. Like they put a buy stop above that small bar that I was just showing you, and then they say, oh, breakout, pull back. Okay, now I get in. All right. Oh, God. The babysit you through everything? But yes, you do, because if the public's going to come in and trade, they're going to read all the books. They're going to do all this. They're going to think, oh, well, have you seen this indicator? And their brain immediately imagines, like, it's like when you see really nice clothes. You imagine some hot girl wearing them. You don't never imagine like a Victoria's Secret catalog ever again in your life, right? Because now that's just, they went, when Beaver goes woke, we got a problem. Like when the only thing driving mankind is sex and money, we got a problem. Money bad, sex bad. You never think, it used to be, the liberals used to be like, oh, if it feels good, do it. Now it's like, if it feels good, do not do it. So if you like to buy low and sell high, it's almost like they want, I don't want you to do that either. But let's go for the 25 pip grid. This should be the ultimate level playing field. And this is going to make it so if we have a 2.5 pip spread, that it's 10% cost of doing business here on the 25 pip if we mine the gap on the 25 pip grid. So I'm just going to go with 25. I should put the 100 on top, but I don't want to distort people's minds into thinking, oh, well, should I put any emphasis on the 100 pip grid? Well, only from accounting standpoint of depth of market there, how, well, that's 100 pips, but I don't think because you're going to see the 25 pip grid is got the 100 in it, and there's going to be a lot of ricochets with the 20 pip grid. Now, that's the only kind of, we can't put a 30 pip grid up because it's not going to come out even. And people have done it, but like I don't like stuff that doesn't come out even. Now, the 25 pip grid or the 50, we could put, and I've had grids that are 150, and I would train myself to think, well, what does this trade cost us? And I'm going to use the grid that is not, these are just skinny lines, and it has these on the side. What I like to do is drag this to stack the grid. So that's 25 pips there. So if I think about putting a buy limit with a 25 pip stop, what I'm using the grid for in this situation is to say, okay, if I buy this 25 pip window and I put a 25 pip stop and maybe even a 50 pip stop on those trades, and they fill me here on the daily, I can't believe I'm even showing people this trade because it's so funny how crude it is. If you're willing to buy this little vacuum that I know is about half of 25 pips, so it's 1 bit, 2 bits is so 25, right? So it's 12 and a half. So that window right there on limits, what is, I just placed them there. And lo and behold, whatever day this is, I don't even fucking know. I don't care. They come down and they tag that. And I have a 25 pip stop and maybe a 50 pip stop. And where's my target? 25, 50, 75, 80. How did that trade work out again? Could you explain that to me? So it's the same thing about this trade. This is a 25 pip window. I can see what this cost me now. Just buying the wick. See how clear that trade is? You're buying here, you're selling here. That trade plan works until it doesn't. And what it doesn't work is when it rips. But in a way it does. Because if I use this rule system, I'm willing to buy a 25 pip stop hunt. Here's almost a 50 pip stop hunt. It's in an uptrend without the narration of closing prices that gave us that setup, that people look for setups, but it's bullish, bearish, it's engulfing. Dude, nobody gives a fuck. Because maybe you waited for it to close here and you did get your top become a bottom, right? You got that set up. Oh, I was waiting for that setup. Dude, I'm just buying this. I'm buying this pocket and I'm selling this pocket. So this is a better chart for limit placement on a daily. And I'm just waiting for this to clean house. Now, certainly, I wish I had targets that were set to 100, but I probably don't on that trade. Well, if I sell this, I'm sorry, I keep thinking this is a 10 pip grid. This is a 75 pip window. Where's the other sell limits? Where do I start to really thicken up my tickets? And where is it painfully obvious? Last known high. This is so crude, it just goes past people. I think it's so crude, it just leaves people going, no, it's not that easy. Yeah, it is. It seriously is that easy. It's so sad. But people like to hear, they want to hear ICT talk about order blocks. It's just so sad. This high matters, and this high matters, and this high matters. This is the death window. That's why when that fills and it goes top tick Tommy, it actually goes into this window. That is a 75 pip crush zone to make 150 pips back the other way. And trust and believe, if you've got 100 pip stops here, and I'm going to turn the 100 pip grid on because I'm getting disorientated already. I want to see what 100 pips looks like. And then I can say, this is better than Fibonacci because I can say, I can sell at that 100. So when they start crushing up in here, and I say, I can't even count these 25 pips. I'm not sure if that's 100. Or I could put the 50s on top and the 100s on top of that, and I go, you know what? Fuck them. I'm selling up here 100 pips north. Fuck them. And how'd that trade work out? Pretty fucking good on the daily. But why can't this be the 4-hour chart? Well, the 4-hour chart, I'm making money here all day long, all week long. So on the 4-hour chart, you saw the 4-hour chart. It looks like a noise fest. In this right here, I couldn't wait. I can't to tell you. I can already hear the whining and moaning at the no nonsense desk about this. When they take this lonely wick out, and I didn't turn the Williams fractals on like I said I would. So let me do that, and then I'm going to put it on the grid. And we'll pull it all together. This is mastering pip trading. We're trading pips. By the way, if this is the NASDAQ, you probably blew up your account. Like, you can't, they're not letting you trade nanos at this broker. So Hugo has like fucking every crypto. They're crazy. They're unregulated. That's the beauty of unregulation. See how deregulation, this nanny state shit, dude, you got to get off that shit. You're probably wearing a mask if you're afraid to open an account where a place that you could trade at. Oh, they let you trade there? Yeah, they let you go to the gym there and work out. Yeah, no mask. Well, I'm wearing my mask. I don't know about you. I don't know what happened to your fucking brain. 6% of people died from that. I guess. It's just the fact that health became a political football. Of course it is. Obamacare. Hello. So trading's easier. We can make more money. We can make so much fucking money. And here's the other thing I think is that you want money. You want money, dude. You don't want gold. You want cash. Cash is king. Gear is king. You got a generator? I saw an ad on the TV. I haven't watched TV in a while. Oh, Genlec's got like a deep cycle battery that you sign up for. And you should see this poor guy. They have these cliche white guy in the commercial who's well fed. He hasn't missed any bacon. And he's like, he got this look in his face of hope and little concern. Like, is this going to 10-year plan to make it? How much money am I going to save from having my deep cycle smart house? The government flipped the switch on him because he fucking said something against the regime. So this is a trade you don't see often. A 25 pip window here on this wick. You get in there. Now that's good trading there, son. That trade don't come up very often, no, see? That's the problem with your trading program you got there, son. Not a lot of trade, see? Our system, trade all the time, a 5-minute chart. Okay, but the spread's killing you. I get sidetracked, but let me go to I'll turn the fractals on, then I'll turn on the... So these are unique things. They'll never happen again, the way this market's behaving. Let me just go to the weekly just to fry your brain on this pure bar chart. I do think everybody should start on the bar chart. So a lot of people are new to the channel. And I don't, people say, do you have a mentorship? I guess this is it, right? So this is the course in mastering bar charting. And I would do it like that. And I would have the grid up there all the time. I go, you know what this would cost you? Like if you put a 1K in, you put $1,000, as small as the broker allows you, this is $7.50. Can you handle that? Oh, $7.50. I think I could. Mildred, do you think you can? It's $10 if it goes down 100 pips. Oh, I don't know. $10. That's like a Chick-fil-A. Is that one of those deep fried hush puppies? What would that cost me? Where would I be on that? Could you give me is there a tip included on that? Do we have to tip? Is there taxes too? Oh, I was in Canada. Holy fuck, they had a goddamn luxury tax. I was looking at this pigskin coat and I thought, is it kosher? Oh, it's a $350 coat. And I was like, I'm going to pull the trigger on this coat. Oh, no, you went above 300. I can't remember the GST. Luxury tax. You rich enough to buy that coat, son. I got a little situation for you here. So that's another thing, is trading real big. Plus, you become a target. Look at Trump, Let's see his taxes. Dude, can we see your Chinese welfare account first? Yeah, the wheels came off. Look at the 4-hour chart. So let me just turn on Williams fractals. You got to give Williams a break on this one. This is pure raw analysis of fractals, a turning point in the market. He's got his own thing, Bill Williams. Stay away from everything except for fractals. Do not touch anything in here but the fractals. Fuck the gator. This gator oscillator, dude, you want to just... This makes Gartley look good, this shit. I'll straight out be honest with you. Everything here sucks. Market facilitation, if you're a volume guy... But everything else sucks. A giant dick. Now, that is giving us the turning points in the market. We can see all the trades we missed from a reversal standpoint. But we have to go out on a limb and take that reversal. Here's a easy... for the class, what I would do is I'd say, hey, pick a grid you can afford. And I probably should just go to the... 100 pip grid now, put that on top. I'm using the 100, I call them zero handles because it's going to be a big black. This I can control the width of it. So zero handles are going to be big and black, and I may have to put those in first and delete my, there it is. So there's the 100, and I can make that thicker if need be. So here we can clearly see that we could have traded 100 pip range, give or taking 25 to 50 pips. Could you afford that? Yes, you could have just bing, bang, bong, bang. It's not really going anywhere. It's trapped in a 100 pip window roughly. It doesn't have perfect respect. But now we can analyze what could we have made here trading a standard lot, getting in here, and milking this... almost 200 pip back and forth. That's $200. This is a daily chart, I realize. So it's taking a long time to make that money, but you're making, as some guy commented about, he's making a lazy 100 pips. And I don't want to be mean to the guy, but I guarantee you he's not trading it like this. He may have an indicator that's getting him into a 100 pip move, granted, and he's making that 100 pips, but not probably in this style. Not that, so here's the thing. People say, how can you criticize people that are making money? They got a perfectly good system. It's oversold. They buy here. And maybe they are getting in on the so-called stop hunt of the Williams fractal. They got their buy limit in this cove here. Now, this is the I used to call this the bottom inside the, well, it's like a retest, isn't it? Now, we're assuming a possible retest, and even that we're going to go lower than the last known marked, and we're using Williams fractal to give us this premium entry. And that is also, I'm getting in here, don't forget, I'm not waiting for Williams fractals. This is my fractal is one turnaround. I wish I could change the settings on Williams to give me the, I guess it's the simpleton fractal, is one fucking lower low. So I'm buying in here, and I'm buying in there, and I'm setting it, forgetting it. Now, if you do not able to babysit this market, this is really cruel, because you could have had sell limits all week long, all month long up. Just keep selling every time it gets up here. Keep rinse and repeat, though, because once they tag and bag those limits, they're gone. And if you're trying to make 100 pips, there's your 100, not buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. When it goes into this so-called trend, which is an explosion into a vacuum, now I'm going to go to the weekly. You see how those trades sit inside of there on the weekly? Now, if you're trading wicks on the weekly, think about the trade that now I'm going to pull off the 25 pip grid, because now you're talking about making 100 pips. And this is where people can make a lot of money in a short period of time. The proof is looking at the fucking, this is like looking at the Dominion computers taking over the election, is what you're looking at here. In essence, that kind of movement, that is 100 pip grid now. Holy God. Weekly chart. This is mind-blowing, and this is about Corona here. People lose their minds. Now, is that look at this. This is the mind blower here. That's not even the election. The election in Britain is right around here somewhere. But you can't even see it, right? Now, because I zoomed out, we've already made the chart look really wild. It's like, look at this data. It's so rangy. Now, this is the market crash of 2008 over here. This is quite a pounding. And from the structural analysis and the big view, these things maintain their structures, but even though these are giant pit moves, this bottom becomes resistance over and over again. And this whole 5 years of just nonsense. And you're putting a 200 period moving average on a daily chart, and you're calling a bias out. You just have to ask yourself, how? Why? And this bottom becomes resistance here. And wow, now we're caught in this trading range. Do we just stick around here, or do we start climbing north? Does the pound actually become something that makes it all the way back to here? I don't know, the way the lockdowns are. The people make fundamental arguments. Well, the lockdowns keep up. It's just going to keep doing this. Everybody's got their, but we're trying to make money. And where's your trade in that mess? So you can torture yourself with all this and what's the big picture. And there was this guy on I think he's from Moldavia or something. And he sounded German to me, but he was talking about, well, look at this projection. If you take this geometry and project out, yeah, but it's not something you can make money from, because you can only trade here and now. What's going on right now? So we got the 100 pip grid on there. We're going to go to the 4-hour chart, and we look for trades that are worth 100 pips. So these things change. And why the 100 pips? Because the British pound moves really brutally. So I would say 100 pips or 50 pip grid on that British pound, and maybe a 10 pip grid on the euro dollar, and just trade So the size, now the spread's very tight there, and it goes to zero sometimes for a nanosecond. And if they're plunging it down 10 pips in the morning or 30 pips in the morning, and they fill 300K, and they retrace it in 40 minutes, and you just made $400. I mean, that's good, right? And or you're in some 5K that you babysat for 3 weeks, and you made $300. So it's a lifestyle choice, you know. Which trade do you want? So that's what's the only qualifier, I think. And which chart do you want to look at? This is the 4-hour chart with a 100 pip grid. That's a week. Wow. You know, when you look at this, and I do look at this, and I just back tested my mind in 2 seconds, and I go, yeah, that's in about 100. If I could trade this range, if I could find a way to buy and sell in here, I found a way to do it. You put the buy limits in, you put the sell limits in, and you just let it go like this. It's just so sad that that's what trading really is. Identifying the trend. Why waste your time? I can make money this week conservatively trading this account with the scripts that I wrote. Every time I do it, I could take an account, and I've done it up to 80 grand from 5, 10 grand. And people go, well, it's a demo account. And your point is, I traded that shit, dude. I put those orders in. They go, but then you blew the account. Yeah, because I said I was going to blow it up. I said, I'm not going to maintain this account. I'm not going to put this much work into a fucking demo. And I walked away from the trade. I never trailed a stop. In fact, I was in a $1 million position. At that time, they didn't have they added a server, and I was like, I can't get out of this trade. To unload 1,000 tickets is going to take about 20 minutes. And I'm actually watching it fluctuate. This time, every half hour, it's moving 5 grand. I was like, I said, this just, I get out here, and then what are people going to say? And I don't care what people say, because I'm just trying to help people that want to trade with stuff that works, and these are trade plans that what I've just done is diffuse the volatility by putting in multiple tickets, scaling in, scaling out. There's no other answer. Mark Douglas said, if you want to trade the market, I asked him point blank, I said, what do I do? He goes, well, get into 3 tickets. Buy one at the market, buy one in a limit. And I thought, well, how do I get into 3 positions logically? I'm thinking to myself, buy one at the market and 2 on a limit. You buy one thinking it's going to go up, and just in case you're wrong, because you're never wrong, you put a limit in below and another one. Now, when they come down and tag that bottom limit, you have the chance to scalp out of that, move your stops, and this is presupposing, and I wasn't going to do it on a fucking demo. I'm not going to fucking drag and drop fucking maintain. Some people, well, look what you do. Dude, are you fucking kidding me? You think I'm going to, okay, so I went on a date with a girl, now we got to get married? Like, I'm not, dude, I'm just going to show you what we would do if we wanted to have fun, what songs we would play on, what beer we would drink. We don't have to do it. We know the outcome of this shit. Now, the fact that you put a Bollinger Band on your fucking chart without a trade plan, that's the thing. If you had a trade plan for that, and there are trade plans for Bollinger Bands, it's called don't fucking trade breakouts when the Bollinger Bands are wide. In fact, put your Bollinger Band setting at 5, wait till they scrunch together, and fucking get ready for the market to explode. All that Bollinger Bands is telling you is that the volatility is dying down, and we built an envelope that adjusts. Now, I thought that was cool when I first saw it because, the static envelope that just rides along in a envelope band of X amount of pips constantly without regard to what's really going on now. The Bollinger Band was an improvement on that. So people probably made a fortune trading Bollinger Band because they have a fucking trade plan for it. But a lot of people, every time they post these indicators, they just say bullshit stuff. Bullshit talking points like, well, what'd you do here? I'm like, yeah, well, you do, what, huh? And you, what? Well, can you show me if it was true, dude, you'd build a Bollinger bot and you'd let that bitch go. It's not like that because the fucking vacuums that are sitting there to crush your bullshit analysis, the real world's going to crush your bullshit. And I didn't think that was true. Like, so a lot of stuff I'm saying, I didn't believe myself because I said, well, you're full of shit. Like, What do you mean you don't have to know where the market's going to make money? I prove it every day because when the market drops, I don't know how far it's going to drop. I don't have to know how far the market's going to drop to make money because if it drops, I know I'm buying in some regard. And if it retraces and I only make 30% or I lose 20%, I'm trading my real money while I'm trading this demo too, by the way. So I'm not going to sit there and it's a hollow victory. You know, there's no what are you fucking demo hero? Now I understand that ICT is selling mentorship. Great. I don't know how he does it because I cringe every time I think about, well, what am I saying that's so amazing? I don't think it's amazing at all. I think it's just obvious. How could I sell common sense? I don't know. I guess you're deprogramming people. I guess when you open up a fucking Scientology rehab center to try to talk people down from the fucking Xenu cliff. There are a lot of people that believe shit. So there was a guy that came over to jam with us, and he's a pretty fair musician, you know. A lot of people just don't. Here's it. I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it. I actually don't want to trade with any. I don't trade. I don't want to jam with any pedals because this idea that you're going to put effects on your guitar. Okay, you should be able to pull that off with your fingers. And if you have to add effects, not if you have to, but hiding behind effects and being the effects be the instrument now. I don't know, maybe I'm just too old-fashioned. But, okay, there's a tasteful way to do shit. Just because you have 500 colors, you don't throw them all on the canvas, do you? I don't know. But, you know, let that go. So I'm not a professional band either. So I'm in an unprofessional band. I'm an unprofessional teacher. I'm very unprofessional because it just seems like too much responsibility. But you can't deny what I'm saying is not true. So I defy anybody to say that if you buy low and sell high, it doesn't work. And that guy gets it. The guy that was saying, well, he just dumps the position. Yes, you have to dump. Because when it comes back and you come into London Open or US Market Open, the whole thing could reverse and go the other way. And everything that you were up on and you thought you were a fucking genius, you thought it was going to the moon, don't forget, it's an exchange and the market's going up and up, down, up and down, up and down, up and down, ranging at an angle that you claim is a trend. Obviously, by looking at this chart. So I didn't get sidetracked there, but it's all tied together because if you're the kind of person that's trying to put on so a lot of people want to go for I saw the mindful girl. You can sign up for FTMO demo for free to trade their prop firm, and they are letting you use the MT4 platform. So I'm wondering if I could run my thing over there, sign up for free, run my scripts of the 1Ks, let the trades play out, and be like, oh, there you go. See? I'm sure they would let me. And that would be what I would recommend for anybody that's at the prop thing is that just put in these orders. Why are you like some of the shit you don't have to babysit? Because we know if they drive it down 100 pips, there'll be buyers down there. And here's the trick is that what I'm doing is intricate because it means that I have to put in maybe 3 standard lots a day on instruments, and I'm laying traps. I don't want to get filled right away. How close to the market am I going to drop these tickets? Now, if I stay 50 pips away from current prices right now on the opening of Sunday night, so he come open, I'm 50 to 100 pips deep on 3 instruments. Above and below, I have sells and buy limits. I'm waiting to get filled. Now, if I am so conservative that I put my orders 200 pips away from current price and I'm thinking, well, they're probably Biden's going to declare war on like white people. Something's going to happen bad, like, oh, if you're white with a gun, we're coming after you. And so the markets go berserk. And you happen to be that guy in that moment that you're like, wow, look at that. And I've done that trade. That's how I got the idea for this. And you're like, holy shit. look at that fucking fill on that. And then you're like, wow, this is amazing. All I did was speculate that if we go really low, how low is too low, right? Well, how far is too far? Nobody knows that. But if you didn't mind risking $17 to make $38 on that one little trade, you go, oh, look at that. Fucking I mean, it's not a lot of money, maybe to you, or you could have put a bigger ticket down there. But if you're doing that every 4 hours, it adds up, right? So at the end of the day, you should make $200. Maybe you may want to make $1,000 a day. All right, that's a lot of hustle. That's consistently making $200 to $500 a day. Maybe you want to make $1,000 a day. But if you don't need $1,000 a day, why would you work that fucking hard? Like people think that you don't have to risk more to make more. Well, okay, where's the stress threshold for you? So that you're going to have to determine. You don't need to back test a 100 pip stop. You should just start trading a demo into the future real time right now. The back testing should take you 10 minutes. Look at the chart. Is this a good trade plan to trade a 100 pip range or a 200 pip range or 300 pip range? The guy I was talking about, he's lazily making 200, 300 pips. You know, and even the Renko people are going to make money, right? Because they get a 100 pip stop. They're looking to make 200 pips. And if they I suppose, if you trade big on one ticket, you got to be really good. That's just a fact of life. Or you got to really be on top of it. You got to hustle hard. You got to look at all these instruments, and also you may not make your 300 pip target. At what point do you say, I'm up 50 pips, I can see the sellers are coming in, I know I got a good entry about 5 hours ago or 5 days ago, but I probably should just get out of this trade now. You've already kind of, in a sense, broken this cardinal rule of plan your trade, trade your plan. You can't use strict rules in this thing. If anybody should have the fuzzy logic and 4 plus 4 equals 5, that would apply here. That works here. 4 plus 4 does equal 5 in Forex because the spread will change. And actually 4 plus 4 equals more like 3. You're getting slippage. You're getting shit just doesn't come out. It doesn't come out right. There's slop. There's this. There's gaps. You can't be personally offended by the fact that you happen to be in the trade in the market when it's going berserk. So if you bought Bitcoin at 60 grand because you heard people claiming $1 million on that bitch and you heard on the radio and you're long Bitcoin at 60 grand, hopefully that's not a very big position for you. But I guarantee you there was a guy I talked to, and I don't know if he's still in the market, but he was freaking out. Bitcoin was at 20 grand, I don't know, and he was talking about Monero or something, certain coins, and people buy these for certain reasons because they have certain aspects that are just in people's minds. You know, we're all trading. Bill Williams says everybody's trading their belief system of what they think something's worth. There's no intrinsic value to really even gold in a sense if it's overpriced, right? What is it really? You can't eat it for dinner, and people that have food or farms are going to claim, well, see, you kind of. Maybe that's why Bill Gates moves down to the farming. We all knew land. If you go back to the 70s, it was all about land, or it was all about location. I don't hear that anymore. All these mantras, I don't hear them anymore about location. Or Tom Vu, you know, think of Tom Vu and other people's money and all this stuff. And well, we're all riding this giant sea of wealth. And I noticed over there in Australia, they have a lockdown again. And on the news, they had about a 2-minute clip, and every car was fucking brand new, fucking high-end. Of course, they're European cars, naturally, but we got a Volkswagen, an Audi, fucking mint condition, not one dent, waxed with Carnival wax. I'm like, dude, these people are so spoiled. They're like, oh, I think I got a mosquito bite. Lockdown. That's what it is. It's wealth. There's no other reason to lock shit. This is why people are so wealthy, dude. I'm telling you, go back. I mean, I'm old. Trust me, go back. Like, you go back 50 years ago, dude, no internet. No app to see the radar, to watch a tornado take out the neighbor's house real time. No, sorry, none of that. So I know these guys I jam with are all younger than me, and they sick of hearing me whine about how I used to drag, my sister through the snow to school. But it is true. And I mean, the poshness that people live inside of, the stable. Yeah, I know there's rolling blackouts, but that's because you're all fucking out of your mind, dumb shit woke. That's what's happening there, right? That's curable. Let me go back to the full trading. See, now I get sidetracked, pissed off. I blame it on them. They, them, thus. Can we go back to like old English, like fire and brimstone shit talk? Okay, here's the 4-hour chart with a 100 pip grid. Now you're like, holy shit. Wow. I mean, you go to the daily, you're like, oh, I see. Maybe I get it. Oh, yeah, 100 pips. Yeah. So when we drop into the 100 pip window, can I afford to buy a 100 pip window? Now, we talked about the 25 pip window. And I'm thinking, well, I got orders in below the Williams fractal on the daily because I don't want to get filled too. My frequency of trading is also a concern. And it's going to be too much fun to have a bunch of buy limits pending below here. And just be like, just waiting to get filled. Now, that is a real disturbing thing psychologically. And this is when you might break out the demo account and just trade at the market in the demo account and wait for your limits to fill for the good trades, So buying in this territory here, this is a 200 pip window. But I'm going to buy in a martingale style. So when we come down deeper, and I should probably put the 50 pip grid up, but I can see the 50 pip grid, right? Once we go below these two key fractals, these two lonely wicks, we start buying pretty heavy. And we don't use all the tickets we donated because we know that this is like, wow, this could be crazy down here. And we mark this off as our constant buy window. No matter what happens, we have to rinse and repeat this area. To me, this is where you find a zone and just keep tapping it. Now, but I'm going to put it deeper because I'm going to allow for a little bit of leeway for them to even spike it down lower. Never underestimate the irrationality of the crowd here, and they're going to spike it and spike it. And you're going to ask, well, why would they fucking drive it down here again? They already drive it up here. And it's really about the fact that, in essence, you're living in a trading range. And the trading range is just from here to here. And we happen to make that climax move there where your sell limits would have paid off considerably. And that's about almost 180 pip window there. Your sell limits here never fill. But after you tap this to the floor, and you could have got out there and made 50 pips with a 50 pip stop. And I have a cluster of orders in here, by the way. And we come back again. And when we do the retap, which I'm suspecting, I'm always counting on I'm always looking for a double bottom because I was anticipating we are going to double bottom. And would I buy the next bottom? Yes, I would. So I'm already anticipating the next trade. This is a Albert Brooks trick. Anticipate the next trade. So I'll buy this low and this low. Anything under here is a buy to me, and this is even a better buy because now it's backfilling into that cove. And then it rips, and this is the big winner because it takes out this, and the big sellers come in, and we probably estimate the price pulse is something like that. And there's a gold mine to be made here without regard to a 200 period moving average or even a 20 EMA on this chart. This is supply-demand trading in a pretty aggressive method because you're going to absorb all of these sells here, whatever occurs there, to make your 100 or 200 pips the other way. And then once again, this is the ultimate entry. We got this lonely wick here. There's a top inside the bottom, I call it, if you go to the 15 here. So if you go to the 1 hour chart, you don't have to go to the 1 hour chart because it doesn't matter. You're also buying because maybe you're at the 100. You could make that claim. I buy at the 100 with a 100 pip stop. And this is why I sell at the 100 with a 100 pip stop. I sell at the 100 with a 100 pip stop. That works out pretty good, right? Because I could sell at the 100 with a 100 pip stop. Sell at the, you got to keep selling that though. See, rinse and repeat. Now, if you take that logic here, you sell at the 100 with a 100 pip stop. Unless you took this off the table, you did not realize that. Now, if you sell at the 100 with a 100 pip stop, they're crushing you. But you had to look left to know that once you popped above this, this is this giant old vacuum we're filling. You're selling at the 100, you're selling at the 100, you're down 30 bucks, you're in 3K. See, you go, oh, I'm going to keep selling. But what if you sold at a 1K, a 2K, a 3K? Now you are short the 3K here. You're risking, risking 30 bucks on that top ticket. You got a 100 pip stop on that one. 3K with a 100 pip stop, $30 risk. It comes flying back. Even this one's a winner. You're not sure. This one you've already cashed out on, see? You bought here, you made 200 pips. Did you not? If you bought anything below this lonely wick, and Williams is not calling out this wick, but I am. I'm this fractal. And like I said, the trailing buy limit's in here. Now you can see 100 pips clean by the end of the day. Let it go. That was 250 pips. Did you take that trade because of fucking ATR or a Gartley pattern? Maybe you did on the 5-minute chart. Maybe on the 4-hour chart there is a Gartley in here. But why would you wait for that when you could buy all these fresh lows here and make your 100 pips clean? Make your 200 pips. Right now you got buy limits pending. I got buy limits pending here. So I could open up an account and I could trade with a 100 pip grid. I got 100 pip stops. I'll buy this 100 pip window. That's worth about what? Now I can count that. That's a 700. That's a 600 pip move off of buying the supposed breakout of this flag, maybe for you. And this is going against the goobers on that one. So isn't that interesting? And it is very fascinating. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this template and we're going to go fucking trade this in the back test of the British pound somewhere in time. So delete all the objects. Otherwise, you're going to save these objects as part of the template, and then they're going to show up in your next thing, and it's going to be a bitch. So I'll try to put a link to the I'll put a link to this big bar, I call it. It should be in my indicators if you. It's the link of all that stuff there, but people can't find it ever. So I'll just put the link. It's a MetaTrader. It's a free indicator. The funny thing, it's all free, see? But people want to pay. I need that mentorship. Oh, this is it, right? We're trying to make 100 pips. I mean, this is like, how to make 100 pips. Wow, I don't know. It's so difficult. Is it really? With using even, using the 3-ticket scaling. One at the market at the 100, one at the 50, one at the next 100. You trade 100 pip range with 3K. You can make a lot of pips, maybe not a lot of money, because to risk a 100 pip window on a standard lot, it's $1,000. It's going to be expensive on a standard lot. But if you take it down to 1K, $10, right? This girl is trading at 31K. And I'm like, what I could do with 31K across multiple instruments without even looking at the chart. I'd be like, dude, at the end of the day, if they don't hit that and retrace, then what the fuck? I'm like, what? People don't like that. Apparently people don't like it. They haven't thought of it because they're like, well, that's kind of like, what? You're just gonna, huh? Where's your technical analysis? I know, where is it? So I'm going to save this template. Template number 1 is what we're going to use on the robot on playback. I hope these show up. So we're going to open up, we're going to view strategy tester. Pick the British pound here, same time frame last time we traded. But we're just going to change instruments to the pound. And the spread's going to be, I'm going to make the spread realistic here. It's going to be at 3. 4-hour chart, every pip, start now. And then when it's loading, I'm going to throw that template on top. Number 1. And we'll have to delete the objects to refresh and have the grid show up, I think, on this. And I go max speed. 32 is the speed for some reason. And let's try to trade it. So we're on the 4-hour chart now, 100 pip grid. And there you go. So we're gonna buy below this fractal. Mind you, there's going to be at least 150K scattered in there, and there's going to be some 10 pip take profits, even though we're looking at this. Okay, we're selling in above there for 100 pips. Let's see if I can fix the scale here so we can actually drill down on the trades here as they happen. The British pound can move on enormous amounts, so we're running 100 pip stops. Okay, we sold that 100 handle. We just made 100 pips. Okay, now how much money? Now I want to put buy limits here, right? Because I'm going to put buy limits in the 100 pip window. I got buy limits down here. We're waiting to get filled. I'm already filled here, though. You see that? Right? I already went long here on this. So we already made 100 there. Now, if I wanted to put a tight one here, I could sell those rooftops there. So here's ripe. Big giant buy area. I could donate 200 pip window here, buy limits. And just waiting to get filled. As soon as we breach that fractal, will be my first scalp to the floor. Boom, we're out of that trade. Now we're waiting for another new low. See how the Williams fractal comes in late on that. But that was a good 50 pip winner there. Now we're waiting to buy new lows again. We could have sold that top. Notice the Williams did not put a fractal in there, but there's a great tight sell. That was a perfect order block, or what do you call it? Worth 80 pips again. And now we're hemming and hawing. Now, this is the 4-hour chart, and certainly if you wanted to be aggressive, right now you've got buy limits you're getting filled on right there. Just got filled, just cashed out, right? You don't see, now if I had the 25 pip grid, you'd say I'm buying every 25 pip handle, and it's just giving you a way to gauge that trade out. But see, I just bought that and I just dumped it. As simple as that. But I have to keep reloading those buy limits. Buy again. Buy limits again. Now maybe they crush. Okay, they made that fresh low. We scalped to the floor. Now I think we're going to come into this big hole. I just bought that. I bought that. Oof. I just scalped out. Scalping. I think they're going to go lower. Crush. We buy more. Now this is where it's scary. And what's happening is that once they hit this wick, there should be a lot of fuel off of this window, this 100 pip window now. Now we can make maybe 150 pips going north out of this pocket. To the floor, here comes the sellers. We're going to get out there. We're out. And I'm going to get out because in 8 hours I make my, if you look at my demo account, that's my trade. Now the structure people either sold at the market, the winning structure trade, they sold there at that pivot. It was gone forever, but you see what I'm saying. So that's it. What do you do with these grids? You know, you use them to gauge your risk. Right? You're going to buy here. I'll buy a 100 pip window. I'm willing to scale in and out of this window for me. That's a perfect sell off the top of that wick. 100 pips. You just made 100 pips selling the top, the trap, goober. You're fading Williams rules. Here you just bought that and made 40 pips. Buying that fresh low. You're making 40 to 50 pips. Now you just sold that one. Now this looks like they're going to crush it up, right? Because this void has gotten too big up here. And make your 20 pips, your 30 pips. Not quite. I think we're going to go up. But you could still be holding some. Now we're selling. Now we're really selling hard into this. And where are we going to sell the mostest? Right up there. But we sold at the 100 and we just made 60. Right? We sold at the 100, made 60 pips. This is great trading, right? Now we're going to buy this vacuum. And we got sells above. So the aggressive traders sell into that early. They sell into those rooftops, into the top of those bars, that pocket. But those targets have to be 40 pips and 20 pips with a 40 pip stop. Now, if you have all your orders super deep, very conservative, now you sell. Oh, you sell big there. Oh, you sell big. Now you have to endure that for the pullback. You sell really big above this wick, like you just bet the ranch above that wick. But you're hanging in there. You're waiting to make your 150 pips on the way back now. You got to wait for it. It's hard. And you're scaling out. You made 100 pips so far. Wait, one more. Oh, yeah. And I'm already thinking about buying. Right? Buy. Buy that. Buy that basement right there. Okay, we're out. We made our 200 pips. We white-knuckled into that. Now we're buying. Now they could crush it all the way. This is what blew my mind the first time I saw it. I thought, well, they can't take it back to here. It's like, oh, yeah. They can come all the way back into this. The price can come all the way back into this hole and be like, holy shit, are you serious? Yeah, no. Total engulfment, all the way new highs, new lows. Everybody's like, what the fuck just happened? What is that? Pretty amazing. So just making money from, I'm going to call these auctions unfair prices. The market dips low. Just bought. Now, had you held through this whole thing, you're up 250 pips, almost 300 pips now. But this is all new buys to me. This is the opportunity. I'm buying into this plunge. Just made 100 pips. Off that bottom ticket. Not off of this one, right? I'm underwater on those. But I see, and then we buy again. It's just so simple. It's too simple. That's why it's simpleton. They don't like it. It can't be that simple. It's got to be more complicated. I need to take a fucking mentorship. No, you don't. You just need the balls to put these tickets in and let it happen. Just let it happen. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Again, now rinse and repeat. That same window is a beaut. Look at this thing. Once again, these are great sells up here. They're telling you where to put the sell limits. It hasn't even gone into that trend yet. And I guess this is kind of a trend here. So should be able to make money. And like I said, I could prove it. Does no good. People don't. It's something you still have to execute on. You know, look at this crude oil. It's still something you have to execute on. You still got to do a trade. Anyways, shit. Look at this thing's making money. Even this dumb shit robot's making money on that. So that's that. Anyways, that's just the update there. What to do with these grids and the big bar. If you're inside the platform, the indicator should be there. It's called bar. I'm using bar 1 on this one. Just so happens to be it's lowercase bar 1. That's the one I'm using because it's just the right width I want. So you have to have these charts to be visually appealing to you to make sense. Less is more. That's why I'm running the less is more. That's why I'm running the. I gotta find this thing. It's charting right now. I lost the window. The live charting window here. But I have to figure out what you feel comfortable looking at, and it makes it okay for you to make a trading decision. You know, because you got to feel comfortable. So we're falling in this abyss here. So see this giant hole here? Now this is a trade that a lot of people wouldn't take until they got a signal. You're buying these new lows down here, and you just made 150 pips. Now this is a white knuckle trade, 4-hour chart. I got you, and it's going to take you like 12 hours to make, probably about 25 hours to make your 200 pips here. Look at this thing coming back to life after that. Yeah, I know you can draw channels and all that. I'm not trading a channel and stuff, but you're a guy that wants to get this. You're a guy that wants to trade what you see, what you think's happening. I'm just trading literally price action. I'm actually a price action trader. I'm just trading up and down. Not putting any. I would have sold this here too. This vacuum. I would have definitely sold that. I made at least 50 pips. We could make more. And now I got the buy limits below this fractal. So I think you can see my trade plan is I'm just going to buy here now. It's as simple as that. Anyways, that's that. And I got to go get something to eat. Probably shouldn't. I think I'm gaining weight. But see, I bought that plunge right there. See? Shay? This is a different perspective, right? When you come in like this, you're like, oh God. So I like this view where you just have a little slice between the bars. I can see my trades. Okay, I'm going to buy below that fractal, sell above that one. I'm buying, I'm scalping. I'm going to buy more. I'm building maybe three standard lots at max. That's 300 tickets in here. It depends. You know, if they take it down and they fill 400, that'd be... What the broker allows me 1,000 tickets, but I don't usually like to go to 1,000. I do on this demo because I run it hard. You know, here's a breakout Sunday night breakout, right? So here's your breakout traders making money. Breakout Sunday night. Oh, look at that! But I'm selling this wick, right? You could have had this trade put in. You could have put this trade in and last that ticket all week. You could have put that trade in. Actually, last week you put sell limits right here, and you're making money. Boom! You just made money. You made money because you put sell limits up here, and even a Sunday night, you're like, I don't care what happens. You could have traded this breakout into your sell limits. You could have done that trade. So why aren't you doing that trade? It's too simple. I think that's what... It's too dumb. Wait a minute. Just slow step. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me all I got to do... Yeah. Now, but if you don't cash out, we may take out that top and you'd be like, wait a minute, that didn't work. Yeah, because you didn't take your 100 pips off the table. Now you may take out that tie. Maybe you will go higher. Well, I did what you said. I sold. Yeah, but you didn't take nothing off the table, dude. So that's the thing. Cash out. Make money along the way. There is no fucking holy grail. This is the holy grail. Is fucking effort. Just trade it. Look, I would have sold that top right there. You know I would. I just described my trade plan. I sold new highs, dude. I just made fucking 50 pips off of that. But not, like I said, you could be concerned now because they're going to crush it up. That's Sunday night. And they're going to go hunt down all the bears now. They're going to give it all back. Remember we were down here? You're up 400 pips from that fucker. If you waited 2 weeks to get paid on that. But if you're not taking that 50, 40, 20 pips off the table, I don't know how you're surviving this game. And the reason why I'm doing that, because I don't run no trailing stops, dude. I don't trail no stops. I'm getting out. Not trailing stop. That's too much work. It's too stupid. I wouldn't even let a robot do it for me. No. I'll take my money. I'll cash out. Look at this thing. All the way back to here. Are you kidding me? Wow. All you need to do is look at that and say, yeah, that looks like the big in golf. Holy shit. That's why I said, when you sell up into this thing, you better be plucking something off the table. Now you're totally short into this window here, and you're going like, oh, God, they better pull this back 100 pips, or I'm going to have... If they don't take that back 100 pips off of that, off of this window, I'm fucked. Yeah, you are. They got to crush that all the way back to here now. For you to make... I keep grabbing the wrong fucking indicator. It's pissing me off. Let me just delete this shit off of here. Oh, my God. If I grab that line again... Oh, I can't customize because I'm playing back the robot. Boy, MetaTrader can't... You can't do analysis all that at the same time. So I kind of froze the robot. But you see what I'm saying. We got to come down to here to cash out. And you're just going, oh my God, they're going higher. So now if you didn't make that 100 pips off of that 100 handle. Oh, Jesus, here. This is going to take a little bit of processing power. It's not so bad. So I want to grab this rectangle every time. So now I really am short. Big time off of this window. And this is the white knuckle trade. Is it not? You're like, dude, that better pull back because otherwise it's just going to keep going up and up and up. And this is in the most giantest vacuum ever. So you made your 100 pips off of that. We pull back. You make 100 off, almost 100. Now you sell more, and this is where it really becomes wow. Can't believe I'm selling more up there, but these are great trades. That's a 150 pip winner there, and you know the buyers are coming in now here, and that has to be where you got to take profits. You can't deny that they just made 100 pips. And this one becomes fun because I got the scripts for that with the 50 pip stops, the 100 pip stops, the 25s, the 80 pip stops, the 40 pip stops, and I can trade that whole window just by throwing limits in and go, come and get me. I don't have to go to the 5-minute chart. Don't have to go to the 30-minute chart, 15-minute chart. Doesn't make no sense because I just get filled on buy limits right there. And I'm short up in there on new highs. I'm short on new highs. I'm taking the most premium trade. If you're a person that you cannot babysit these markets, you'd be a fool not to put sell limits up on the high nosebleed there. You just made 150 pips off of that trade. Now you're up almost 200 pips. You are up 200 pips off of selling new highs. I know it looked really like, oh, I can't believe I'm selling that. You're up 300 pips. So just watch the market play out. Think about how you can make money from that. Is it worth selling new highs? It's more worth that than it is designing engineered coronavirus. This is way more profitable than being a dumb shit academic bureaucrat that's the most overpaid piece of shit on the planet. This is way more ethical. And for all the Wall Street sitting and all the whiners about, and I hear these people whining about, I can't make no money. I'm like, you don't get it. You should have bought right there. Right? You should have bought right there. At least for the scalp. You got a 100 pips stop on that. Can you make your 100? Maybe not. But you make your 50 pips off of that. You did not make 50 pips. If you bought, are you not up 100? I mean, I could all day long. I'd call out these trades all day long. The only difference between is did you put the trade in there? And a lot of people wouldn't buy here to make the 200 pips because they're like, oh, no, it's going down. It's going down. Yeah, you're the same fucker that thinks the color of your skin matters, I suppose. Or you're same dumb shit wearing a mask. I guess that's what's happened, you know? And that's why I get so pissed off. You should have sold up here. Even Williams is telling you fade Williams. Fuck Williams. He's saying buy this breakout. We're turtle traders. We buy new highs. You do? I rape you. I make a living off of you. You bought there? Well, yeah, could you see it was going up? What are you running, a 500 pip stop? You probably are. You got 300 pip stop, and you're like, we'll see eventually. I ain't got time for eventually, dude. When's the mass next? We got a climate demic coming. We got dick demic. What's the next fucking thing? It's a clusterfuck of people, and inflation's not even, it's so fucking sector specific, dude. There's a chip shortage. Yeah, for your dumb shit smart car and your smart dildo. Yeah, there's a shortage for that. Who gives a fuck? We've been through we've had people walking around with their fucking feet freezing off to get away from dictatorships. And you're fucking whining about the battery on your fucking cell phone? And, you know, dude, this shit just dies of its own weight. That's the beauty of, look at this crush. Look at this fucking pullback, dude. What if you would have held that sell from up here that you couldn't fucking believe? Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. But you don't have to hold that position. Do you need a moving average? Do you need a trend line? Do you need Bollinger Bands? No, I don't. Thank you very much. But thank you for asking. In fact, the Williams Fractal, to me, it just shows you the prime turnarounds, you know. There's no perfect respect here for the 100 pip grid. If I put 50 on top, let me throw a 50 on top. Let me see if I can sneak it in. The robot won't crash. Let me use the 50 grid, which is going to give me markings on the side. Now, you may want a 50 pip stop. And you try to make 50 pips. And why do you have a 50 pip grid? So you can see your trade. If I buy with a 50 pip stop, can I make 50 pips? Yes, you just did right there. Thank you very much. You just did that trade. I just can't believe people are missing this. If I'm willing to buy a 50 pip window in this so-called stop hunt, right? Here's a 50 pip underneath the floor, trapped under the floor, sunny night. You close on Friday under the floor. You had the balls to buy here. This is just like last Friday's trade, but this is like years ago here. You buy here, you make your 50 or 100, you're out. You come to the floor, maybe you initiate a sell here based on structure. You got a pending sell limit. And maybe you put a sell limit in up here, it never gets filled. What's wrong with this trading? Why not trade like this? Assume that we're going to come down here. And I'm going to put in a buy limit. I'm going to put a rack in here. I'm going to put a 40K in a 50 pip window and have different stops, different take profits. I know I will make 50. I got to make my 50. If I buy here, I got to make my 50 to the floor where we're at right now. So where we're at now is going to be the exit if we buy lower. That'll be the first logical exit point. And that's just how it is. Maybe I hope I'm not... I guess I'm repeating myself only because I'm trying to say in different ways. Because amazingly, people after the video, they go, I don't get it. So I guess I'm not trying to insult anybody, but you want to buy down here. You just bought this, right? You just bought here and you're going to make 50, all right? And to the floor right there, you're out. You're out, right? So you made your 50. Trying to make 50 to 100 pips. Can you do it? Yes. Now, I understand that unless you put in bigger positions, but I can put giant racks in here, dude. Buying this plunge. I'm buying that plunge. Can I make 50 pips? Yep, just made 50 pips. Off the very bottom ticket. And if I martingale in, I made a lot of money. I'm going to buy again. If they drop at 100 pips, I'm buying 50 pip windows in my grid. I'm not buying just on the 50s. I'm buying that whole window. And I just made 50 and 100. So I bought under the floor. This is the same cliche we see again and again. You take out Sunday's low. You're trapped under the floor. Bing, bang, bong. This goes on for 20 hours, then rip. But during that process, I want to scalp my 50 and hold for maybe the 100 and be out. And then I go flat, and then I go into the whole thing all over again. Sell limits up here, buy limits below. Now I'm selling. I'm looking for a 50 to 100 pip pullback as I sell into these wick tops, into these fractals. Selling at the 100. Getting stopped out of stuff too. You're not going to win every trade. Selling really big up here. But I just made 70 pips off this ticket, see? And why is that the better trade? Because if you mark off all of these rooftops on the 4 hour, this is a really critical price window. Because that's the last known high in this rack. It's also why I'm going to sell above this fractal all the way to that. So I'm going to sell a 100 pip window. And I made my 50, my 70, my 100. And just like I'm going to come back and buy here. So it's a lot of buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. How could there be a trend for me? It's all buy, sell, buy, sell. Now I just made 50 pips off of buying under here. Now I just made 60. And it's Sunday. I go flat. Now I got big pendings up here. The week starts. It's a whole new week. Sellers galore in a 100 pip window here. Buyers galore in a 100 pip window here. Just set it and forget it. Wait for them to fill me. That's so hard, this trading. I don't know how people do it. Boom, boom, boom. Sell, sell, sell. Scalp 20, scalp 30, scalp 50. Boom. Now, I could have babysat that, pulled the trigger. I could have done all that. Look at me. I'm a hero. Look at me. I got the fucking sniper. Oh, I got pulled the trigger up there. Yeah, that was the order block. See, ICT was right. Okay, you know, if you want to have it like that. I just made 80 pips placing sell limits last fucking week in that price window. We knew that price window was selling again. and aggressively trading it where you put your limits in like this. But you're doing all this stuff. There is no cure for work. There's no magic pill for putting in your buy limits here, your sell limits there. The only hard part is watching the hot dogs being made. It is tough to see this. You're like, oh God, dude, but oh my God, I'm underwater. And fuck, oh my God, what if they fill those other tickets up there? And you get numb to that concern, and then you become a range trader, I suppose. You don't think, oh God, this trend, man. Should I chase Bitcoin? You chase it. I'll range it. So you made your 75 pips off that tippy top, and you bought, in my theory of this 4-hour, I'm trading a 4-hour chart like this with real money, by the way, because it's too easy. It's too easy to put a cluster of limits in here and go, call me when they fill that shit. Look at Top Tick Tommy almost here. Look at just a little. You can see the Williams fractals calling out that slightly higher high. This is a 1 pip entry to make 100 pips up here. Yes, that trade does exist. Look at tippity toppity trade, 150 pips now. I could do this for 3 fucking hours and nobody would. People just like, oh, I don't know if I want to put my buy limit down here. There was a guy that was a novice trader. He had some issue. I don't know, was it OCD or something? I could have got him to do this trade all day long. He'd go like, yeah, that works. Okay, next thing. And I would even have him go an extra mile, which I do is I buy this fractal, I buy this one, and I just load the wagon and I go, bring it. This is Sunday night. And I already said, test me, man. Give me any time frame on the British pound with a 150 pip grid, and I'll show you all the trades. It's just easy. I'm going to do it this week. Did it last week. Did it the week before. Did every fucking week. Range trade rules. You can't beat it. You cannot beat it. Not even with a stick. Or with somebody else's dick. You cannot beat it. That's why this is adult-only content here, people. Let me go to the... Look at all this money, and who has a moving? Who needs a moving average at this point? This is like goofball shit. The art in it, to me, now here's where it is. What I'm doing is, if I decide to buy all of these lows here, I'm going to mark them off. So I got buy limits here, 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 here. The market is here. I didn't sell this top. I didn't get involved in that. But I'm willing to buy this plunge. I buy. Even this trade's a winner if I can withstand a almost 100 pip pullback. But when we get down to here, I got a real deep cluster, right? I'm barely buying this plunge. I'm like, yeah, let's take a little bit off that table. No, here comes U.S. Open or some bullshit. This is the one that people get hurt on, right? They see this, they go, okay, I'm going to buy below here. They get in too heavy. There is a scalp in here, you know, because we know that we ranged around here. And they don't have enough dry powder to really see that this is going to be the trade that makes them 150 pips. Hopefully they may, and it's okay because if you're trading these small tickets, you got stopped out. You didn't lose too much on that. And besides, you made enough money on buying this one, which is a dip into this 50 pip window, and you did good on that trade. You've built the account up. The account's doing good. You can afford a couple. You never know if this sell-off is going to really plummet. So this is when you're buying those pullbacks, it could be a big, like this one where you just, oh my God, look at that. Let's see where we're at now. So this is speed learning, I suppose, is mastering speed trading. Let's see where we're at. Okay, we come up here and done all this bullshit here. So this is where it pays off. When you white knuckle sell into new highs here, you make all your pips and then some, if you can withstand. 150 pip slam. $15 a ticket. It comes all the way back and actually comes down here. But why bother? You could just as easily have bought this. You can step into this at any time. You don't have to wait for your indicators to catch up. you're selling. Up here right now, this is painfully obvious. Your Sunday night, you're sell, 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 sell. Into Sunday night, cash out to here. Right, the obvious first scalp out of the gate, the beginning of the week. We're short into this insane. Now, I don't know how far back that vacuum goes, and I should probably zoom out, but let's not even do that. Let's just take the risk. If you look too much for security here, you're never gonna have the balls to just get in. So we went up 100 pips. We scalped the 50 off this tippy top because I put orders at the 100-yard line to make 50. We made our 50 off, and you could just use this. You could put your orders around the 100. We sold the 50 here, trying to make 50 back to the 100 now. I'm a heavy seller all week long here, building a sell position in a swing mode to make 150 to 100 to 50 pips, or maybe 200 pips. 200 pips is hard to make. Sold again to make the 50. Okay, we made 50 pips selling those new highs. The buyers come in again. We're selling again. So I got no problem selling into this. I like this approach. I just keep selling and range trading it because it's going to come back real hard. And if I can keep adding more to the sell side, which seems insane because it keeps going up, selling more again here. Now we just always making our 25, 50, 40, 60 pips here. Again, we're selling. Now we got to make our 50 pips. And maybe I'm selling every 4 hours at the market, but I don't have to. The better way to do is to lay the limit grids in and let it happen. Now we just sold an enormous window of 100 pips. We're looking for a monster pullback. We may not get it, so we always got to take our 50 pips off the 50s and off the 100 handles. Just as a rough gauge, this is not like written in that 50. We're selling that one too. Inconceivable. And at some point, I'm going to step in and start selling at the market going, oh, babe, this thing going to crack hard. This is like when they come out Arizona Monday, they're coming out with the numbers. It's going to blow people's minds when they can find out how many people actually voted as opposed to ballots. It's going to blow people's minds. It's coming Monday. That'd probably make the stock market crash right there. So we made 100 pips off the top here, and it doesn't look like it, but that's why I got the pip grid to prove it. And this is a very hard. I said it all week. I'm selling that, and this would be a giant swing trade. And I'm sure the big boys or the big money that's out of balance now to the upside is totally short, and they're looking for this thing to pull back all the way to the starting gate. The breakout of Sunday night, we come all the way back to there, and people can't believe it. They're like, "What the fuck was that?" Now there are people that. You can see all the beautiful trend trades here from just buy pullbacks. And I could have run. What I'm talking about here is swing trading. If I wanted to trend trade that, I put buy limits and I run trailing buy limits on those lows there. So see, that's a different kind of trade because here I could run a 25, 30 pip, 40 pip stop to make 100 pips or 50 pips, right? Consistently placing the buy limits there. But here I was trying to make 200 pips off the top, which I did. See, we finally came down here, and now the range traders are having their way with it. And there's going to be all sorts of that. I'm going to call that a trend there. Climax, pullback, and now it's all choppy woppy and a little bit psychologically easier to put the sell limits up there because they're like, oh my God, they take it up there. So they just top ticked Tommy. Did you notice that? They took out the high of last week, the very ending Friday's high, as much as bullish bulls could ever take it, and that is now a 150 pip winner to sell there. And that's why people, if you stay with that sell program, good money in that, right? Clean. Now, when you go to buy this, now the bulls are getting smashed. They buy this below that fractal, like, holy shit, it took 100 pips of heat. Still a good trade, though, because if it makes it back to their first entry, all these tickets they bought, the 100 pip window, it works. So my system works both direct, just cashed out. See that? It is not dependent on any type of setup. Well, previous prices it's dependent on. That's your indicator. That is your, it's telling you where to put your orders. It's not Fibonacci that's telling me to put those tickets there. It's not Gartley. It's not a moving average. It's not Bollinger Bands. None of that shit. This is pure grid price naked trading. And that trade is now worth even more than, so it's a range trader's dream in here, is it not? You're buying that, you're selling that, you're buying that, you're selling that. That trend has kind of fizzled. The big boys are waiting for it to come all the way back to here. If that's even possible, it may not be possible. Anyways, I gotta go. I gotta get some food. We're waiting for the markets to open. I'm gonna watch a few bad movies. Just addicted to watching movies, man. I'm just sitting there. I got the markets, the movies, the bitcoins. How's Bitcoin doing, by the way? Broke out, pulled back to that trend. Perfect setup right there. So I know people are taking those trades. I got it. But there's my 2 cents. My what is it? 200 pips. There you go.